How are you gauging the political fallout, the economic fallout here in Hong Kong? Some say it's pretty much a done deal that the economy is going to enter into a recession. But how long could this last?
Sure, that's a big question for everyone. I mean, we've already downgraded Hong Kong growth 4th times since the protests escalated. Wow. So now we're expecting, actually, in 3Q, you not only get a Q-on-Q contraction, you also get a Y-o-Y negative print as well. And I think clearly the impact on tourism, on retail, catering, on top of the trade logistics environment, given the ongoing trade tensions, all of this is a very negative recipe. So I think, with the withdrawal of the extradition bill that happened earlier, it kind of took a little bit of the peak of the political kind of tensions that was kind of building. But the economic impact is still very, very long lasting. And I think it depends on to what extent the violence can be contained, law and order can be brought back into the city. Otherwise, the reputational damage is very significant.
What's the best case for Hong Kong?
Best case is everyone agrees to talk and we get some sort of some sort of mediation between the two sides. Clearly, It's a very, very polarized society. But stopping any form of violence, destruction, enforcing the rule of law, and I think that kind of piece. But again, that's not realistic at this point. I think the society is still very, very divided. And meanwhile, you already see the impact in terms of, that creates a lot of opportunity for other markets, like Singapore, for example, where you see some of the kind of derivative gains there. And this is going to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, Lam saying now it will take time for this new mass law to take effect. It's new regulation. It needs time for people to kind of sink their teeth into it. She talked about the mainland tourists and the tourist numbers that have dwindled. Has the damage already been done for Hong Kong here as a destination to go shopping, tourism, luxury brands, the like?
Well, I mean, the damage is definitely already done. The question is, how long will the damage last or persist? And really, it all depends on people's perception of security, right? If you feel that because you're mainland Chinese, you're being threatened because some people will harass you or something, then that obviously will make you feel very, very unwelcome. And, we're in a very competitive world. There's so many other tourist destinations out there that offer you, shopping, retail and, eating out kind of dining experiences. So, it's a challenge. That's why I think it's very, very important to reinstate law and order. And to get the kind of logistics to function smoothly, because obviously the airport issues earlier, back in early August, was very, kind of a big damage in terms of logistics. People kind of were, no longer wanting to fly through Hong Kong, for example. Right. Now, thankfully, that situation has already been corrected, and basically flights have been resuming. But you still have a lot of disruptions on transport links.
John Woods, one of our other frequent guests from Credit Suisse, described the financial system, Hong Kong, as bulletproof, at least as far as sort of the financial system is concerned. What would it take, because that's already another level, what would it take to destabilize the financial system?
No, I mean, again, the banks here have a lot of buffers, liquidity, capital adequacy buffers. And I mean, in order to have some big systemic shock in Hong Kong, you'd probably need something big to happen to mainland China. As you know, a lot of exposure of banks residing in Hong Kong is mainland related exposure. And, that certainly is not our scenario. Now, having said that, of course, there'll be some issues. We could have a lot of stresses in some of the SMEs, that could have some pressures. Again, we're already seeing some correction in property prices. But having said that, I don't think debt and loan to valuation is not very high here. There's been already very tight macroprudential policy. So I do agree with, the comment by John Woods as well that, I don't think that we're going to get any distress on that side. You'd have to envision a very, very big shock, which at the moment doesn't seem likely given, property prices are not going to collapse in a big way given the supply issue that we've had chronically, the lack of supply that we've had here in Hong Kong.